New tonight on the Night Beat, David Hernandez is one of the latest San Antonio area police officers charged with domestic violence. Arrest records show he grabbed a woman by her neck and then pushed her against a wall last month, injuring her.
Beta's Night Team's Dylan Collier discovered there were plenty of signs of trouble in Hernandez's past before then, both on duty and off duty, and yet he continued to work as a police officer. It's tonight's Defenders Report.
There's an altercation going on between my friend and his girlfriend.
San Antonio police officers were called to this duplex on Cranberry Hill 15 times in less than 15 months for disturbances, assaults in progress, and family violence. The West Side address became so familiar to SAPD officers, they knew the parties involved in the multiple calls as soon as they pulled up. One of the common denominators, according to incident report after incident report obtained by the defenders,
San Antonio Police Department, how may I help you?
Off-duty police officer David Hernandez, sometimes listed as a suspect, sometimes listed as a victim or witness, but always there.
And what's his name?
His name's David Hernandez.
Hernandez's repeated encounters with police played out as he worked for two area law enforcement agencies. First, the Helotes Police Department, and then Von Ormy PD. Hernandez's brushes with the law culminated with his May 1st arrest for family violence.
And while Hernandez's personal life appeared to be mired in drama, his work history in recent years was rocky at best. He resigned his position with Helotes PD last year while facing termination, then landed a job 22 miles away in Von Ormy just 2 months later.
Until recently, it's been really hard to study cases like this systematically.
Ben Grunwald is an associate professor of law at Duke University. Last year, he co-authored a breakthrough study published in the Yale Law Journal titled The Wandering Officer. It examined members of law enforcement like Hernandez who get fired or step down while being investigated for misconduct, only to pop up in another, usually smaller town. Grunwald found that wandering officers,
they are twice as likely to get fired as an officer who's never been fired before in their career.
In Hernandez's case, his tenure in Helotes tarnished by a pair of episodes less than 2 years apart. In 2018, a department camera caught Hernandez using foul language and directing rude and condescending behavior toward a motorist during a traffic stop, while also committing the same violation he accused the driver of, speeding through a parking lot close to pedestrians. Hernandez was suspended 3 days and placed on probation at work for 6 months. Last year, another incident. This time, while in uniform but working an off-duty security job, Hernandez showed up at this house outside Devine in Medina County and showed the woman living there a list of items owed to her estranged husband. It was different than what was on file with the court. Records show Hernandez also repeatedly said it was okay for the husband to be at the property while the belongings were gathered, even though the man had pending criminal charges for domestic violence. A subsequent investigation found that Hernandez violated a long list of police department rules. But after first issuing Hernandez a termination, Helotes city officials now acknowledge he was allowed to resign, making it even easier for Hernandez to slide into another law enforcement job. This claim from Von Ormy's police chief that officials there were not aware of the Medina County incident, and that when they reviewed Hernandez's personnel file in Helotes last summer, the documents pertaining to it were not in his file. Grunwald says the poor sharing of information is unfortunately common among police departments.
Some agencies simply don't know that they're hiring a wandering officer, either because the officer didn't put it on their application, the agency did no background check, or the background check was ineffective.
For the defenders, Dylan Collier, KSAT 12 News.
Now, when reached by phone, the police chief of Helotes denied that Hernandez's discipline records weren't in his file and said that Von Ormy officials had access to the same information the defenders were able to get. Hernandez was fired by Von Ormy 2 days after his assault arrest. He is scheduled to be back in court on July 26th.